Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Sam and Max Hit the Books. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we are here to discuss the comics that came out on the 4th of September in 2019. Not just the comics that came out that day, but I would say the best, because I bought some large amount of comics this week, and we decided to trim out a few of the boring ones so we could spend a little more time on what ended up being a pretty darn solid week.
Oh, yeah.
So let's start with Doomsday Clock. Number 11 out of 12 is finally here. Just shows up magically in your poll one day, and you try to remember what had previously happened in Doomsday Clock because it's been so long. Now, you didn't read this, correct?
No, I did not.
This issue, the thing is, you could have read this issue because this is the summary issue. Like, all the pieces are now moved into place, and Ozymandias has given a speech about what his plan is. And Lex Luthor has revealed that he's found many copies of Dr. Manhattan's photograph of himself and his girlfriend from Watchmen that's been replicated throughout time many times. And we get a little bit with Alfred cooking up some pancakes and going to find the new Rorschach and convince him to go out and be Rorschach again because they need him to be Rorschach. Now, I want to point out that this takes place, in the future, quote unquote, of where the DC universe is right now. Nice to know Alfred's okay.
Yeah,
they didn't kill him off in Batman 2 weeks ago.
That's true.
But all of it is essentially just leading to this thing that has been getting set up for the whole series, which is Dr. Manhattan and Superman facing each other down in some flaming rubble, and Superman rushes him, and Dr. Manhattan can't see anything after that, which means that either he is killed or he destroyed the universe.
Yeah.
So I guess next issue, whenever that comes out, hopefully while we're still doing this show, we'll find out. I would say I can't wait, but that would be dangerous to my health. Am I doing enough shtick about how long this book has taken to come out each time? Looks great. Gary Frank is doing a very good job. I can see, I guess, why it's taking so long. The guy's art is good.
Yeah, that's a cool thing.
It is good. But it's fine. Give it a 6.
Cool. Alright, we're going to talk about issue 5 of the Savage Avengers by Gary Duggan and Mike Deodato Jr. This issue, I think, is my favorite so far.
This issue is where it got good.
It got really good because they have to take out this Marrow Demon, and it's a hell of a thing for him. It's got Venom, which is pretty funny when he's just like, this thing won't let go of me even after they take it down to the ground.
Yeah, it's interesting that Venom no longer is in his empowered dragon state.
Right, now he's just regular old Venom. Like, get me out of this thing. Which is funny. But the coolest thing ever happened in this issue because to kill the demon, Wolverine found that he could not easily cut through it, like cut its head off or anything. So he decided to go right into its brain. And he just jams his claws in there and calls out for some help.
He calls out as deep as he, he's not super strong. He's above average strength.
Right.
His adamantium skeleton.
And they're sharp, but this thing's magic.
Right.
So he calls out for help, and Conan uses his bit of symbiote to make his sword into a giant hammer and just hammer it into Wolverine's elbow.
Oh, God,
shoving
that hurts.
his claws in.
That
and so
hurts.
Venom comes, and
So
he
much.
makes another hammer, and he hammers into the other side, and they just keep hammering at Logan's arms.
Yeah, they're hammering Wolverine's arms like they're railroad spikes in an old Looney Tunes cartoon.
Right. Just hammering them into this demon's brain.
I did quite enjoy... that's making the most of your roster.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
Exactly.
I do quite enjoy Conan's interactions with everyone in this issue. Conan is great in this issue.
Right. Well, he's just like... He's not really on their side.
Right. Yeah, he's doing his own thing. And Punisher is... fine. I finally get why Punisher's around, really. Because, he makes himself useful. He can blow the door off of something because he got explosives.
He's got cool tech.
I like the weird grudging respect relationship that Conan forges with Frank at the end, where he's going to help him drag the coffins with his wife and son inside back across the desert.
Right, yeah. The wasteland.
The wasteland, right.
And yeah, it's very cool, but it seems like the bad guys got the last laugh because now they're all infected from this marrow demon.
You know what this reminded me a lot of? The Terrifics. Because I straight up, when it said you've all been infected, I straight up thought the next thing was going to be like, if you get too far away from each other, you will succumb to the curse, blah, blah, blah,
right.
blah.
Well, it's clear that this curse will be bringing them back together, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I do wonder if Doctor Strange is going to show up since they mentioned him, or what. And it is too bad that other symbiote dies.
That is too bad.
Yeah.
It dies basically right after.
But I do.
The hammering.
I wonder if Conan got a codex, or if the symbiote only ever chilled on his arm. I mean, it was whispering to him in his mind, so he thought it was Crom.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty awesome if he got a codex.
How about the Crom page, where we see what Conan is just describing what Crom is to Elektra or Wolverine or whoever he's talking to.
Oh, it sounds terrifying.
We see him looking down over the dark valley. This is finally where the book became what it should have been all along, which is, this is going to be the last issue in the trade paperback.
Wow.
So that's why. It would have been cool if this was issue 3. You know what I'm saying?
It would have been real awesome if this was issue 3.
Yeah.
As such, I do give it a 7. Very good.
I am going to give it a 7 as well. I had a good time reading this issue.
Yeah.
And I did have an audible reaction when they started hammering Wolverine's arms. And I was like, whoa!
Yeah, me too.
It was wonderful. All right. Moving on to issue 31 of Justice League by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, drawn by Jorge Jimenez. Drawn the hell out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
He seems like as this book goes on, he's getting more and more loose with some of his line work. The characters some of them are starting to feel a little more exaggerated in a lot of their motions. He's always had that slight bit of cartoonishness to it before, but I feel like it's really getting amplified of late.
Yeah, I can see that. It's a little more dramatic and dialed up than it was at the beginning.
Which really suits it because there's so many super teams showing up now, so many super characters. We got the JSA showing up with classic-ass Wildcat. Love Wildcat. He don't got no powers. He's just a real good boxer, man.
Yeah, he's cool. Dr.
Fate, who speaks in a different font than everybody else, is a good lettering thing I always like.
Yeah.
You got Commandy showing up in the future. Last Boy on Earth, always like Commandy.
Yeah, he doesn't show up very often, but when he does, you remember, oh yeah, Commandy.
And they do an interesting thing in this one where they, somehow Brainiac has managed to secure all the various future timelines of the DC universe into separate jarred dimensions that he can access, which is a very interesting thing about a universe with timelines. Really breaking down what's going on here.
Right. It seems like he's distilled them all.
Right. Because as cool as seeing the JSA is, let me tell you, guess who else shows up in this issue? Yeah, that's right. Justice Legion Alpha, a.k.a. Justice Legion A from DC 1 Million by Grant Morrison.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the Justice League from way in the future.
Nice.
And things are about to get kicked up a notch, I think.
Right, because they're controlled by Brainiac.
And then we have the big reveal of the issue, which is interesting because it's played like a twist that would be happening if we had been seeing a masked figure show up in this book and we didn't know who it was, and we're like, who is that guy?
Yeah.
Because we see a masked figure who's revealed to be Aquaman.
Right away.
And he's working for the Anti-Monitor for some reason.
Yeah, seems that way.
Remember,
I even get over there.
Aquaman was sucked up into something at the end of that Drowned Earth event, right? He was gone in some way at the end. He died, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, trapped in the graveyard of
the graveyard of the gods.
Yeah, something.
Something happened. Yeah, I do not remember at all, even though it wasn't that long ago. Very entertaining book, very expertly drawn. I'm also going to give this a 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7 too. It's really epic.
It is big time, and it does feel like we're finally getting to the end of all the build we've been having.
Right, Perpetua's out,
right.
Luther's doing their thing. They're going to create a new universe unless they're stopped.
I'm going to be a little bit mad if this plot continues after Doom War. I really want Doom War to be the end because I love this story, but I'm ready for the conclusion.
I know, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we're going to talk about the fourth issue of Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai.
Yes!
And boy, did I enjoy this issue.
It's a good issue.
Yeah, it's really good. It starts with a battle. You think it's Usagi, but it's actually...
Like a zombie battle.
Yeah, with crazy zombies, but it's actually just him reading the story of this author who he's come to know. And she's on her way to see her father because her husband's a little bit abusive with an arranged marriage, and her being more famous than him because it's a time of peace and he's a warrior and she's an author. And it makes him resent her. So she's going to go see her father, and Usagi decides he's going to accompany her when some thugs show up.
Yeah, see, I wasn't expecting to get a domestic violence story in Usagi Yojimbo. So that was interesting when he sees the bruise on her arm.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's it's a period thing. So.
But what happens when those goons show up, Sam?
Oh, well, Usagi takes them out pretty fast. They are part of the retainer of her husband, and they want to take her back to him.
But specifically, how does Usagi take them out, Sam?
Well, he starts by taking out the first guy by punching his horse in the face, taking him down. He quickly dispatches the rest with his sword, but he never takes it out of his sheath.
He never takes it out of his sheath.
He only kills when he has to, of course.
Usagi takes out all these guys and their drawn blades on horseback by himself with a sheathed blade.
Right.
This dude is a badass.
Oh, yeah. And just throughout the whole thing, he is holding on to his honor, it's important to him.
That's Usagi, man.
It's such a great thing. He truly is a samurai.
A hero.
A hero. And they're always calling him Ronin as an insult. He has no master, but he that's what he is. He's Ronin. He wanders, and he is the best.
He's the best.
And
check out our character ranks to see where Usagi rated on our list if we ever get that one up.
Right? Yeah. That one is not out yet.
Coming up.
Yeah, and this one ends with a little bit of a cliffhanger. They go to stay in a secluded shack, a
temple.
Temple, yes.
Yeah, that's where Usagi tends to stay. He's thrifty.
Yeah, he stays where he can.
Yeah. It's a little dilapidated, but he's used to living rough.
Yeah, there's some little dinosaur vermin.
Yeah, I can't remember what those are called, but they are like the predominant fauna ever in this comic. They are everywhere. People eat them.
It's not
they do things.
Or that's a water one.
Yeah,
it's one of those. It's that little green dinosaur.
Yeah, I know the one. It looks like a consignatus, but
right.
They have like a specific name that I'm just not recalling at the moment. But, yeah.
But it seems like they're going to get ambushed at this temple.
Yeah, we see some blades.
Yeah.
See some blades coming in.
Because they were talking about us walking through a village, and there was one guy who's like totally eavesdropping on everything they're saying and following them.
See, it's all there in the art, man.
It's all there.
Yeah, Stan doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what he's doing, and it's such a sure hand.
Yeah, it's just great. I'd give this issue an 8.
I'm also giving it an 8.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Okay. Brace yourselves. Next up, we've got the 4th issue of House of X by Jonathan Hickman, drawn by Pepe Larraz.
Woof! My God!
So this is the rest of the suicide mission.
Yep.
And it is a suicide mission because all the X-Men die in this issue.
Yes, they do. It's brutal.
Now, what do you think? Alternate universe, pod people. These are. I was very interested in the way when Jean first establishes contact with Xavier back on Earth. She mentions that Logan is not his full self. And I'm like, yeah, he's missing a chunk of his arm, and that might be all that means. But it might mean that everybody's not, something's not quite right with Logan.
Well, something's been going on with Logan.
We'll see. Something's going on with all the X-Men, but they all die, so we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah. Cyclops gets his head blasted off.
Cyclops gets totally murked. Mystique gets dropped into the vacuum, but it's Nightcrawler and Wolverine, man.
Yeah, Nightcrawler and Wolverine teleport into the vacuum to break the final seal that's holding the mother mold in place so that it will go into the sun.
Yeah, Nightcrawler burns away instantly. And Logan lasts long enough to disconnect it.
Oh my god.
And their mission is successful. They do it, but everyone goes down.
Everybody goes down.
And then the infographics go crazy. Because at the beginning you get this infographic, just like all the ones we've been getting throughout the series, which is it's just all the major death things that have ever happened to mutants, all their mass deaths.
Yep, and their populations after those.
Right, and what's left over. And all from Stephen Lang from Project Armageddon, who's responsible for murdering 29 mutants, up to Bolivar Trask, who created the Sentinels, which wiped out Genosha during the Morrison run and are responsible for 16.5 million deaths. But the interesting on the list is the second one is considered Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch from the Avengers, who depowered 986, 420 mutants, and left them with just 198 at one point in an event known as the Decimation.
Yikes.
But yeah, they get to the end, and Professor X, he knows his team is dead, and he collapses to the ground, and tears roll down his cheeks from underneath his creepy, creepy helmet. And he said,
I love that helmet.
And he thinks no more, and then you get the full page with the little no more, and then you see the totally remixed infographics of all the mutant death scenes with more no mores pasted over them, all over them, down to the last one with a giant no more and the giant Xavier face. And
yep.
It was a great use of the infographics, because it was very meta to me to have them be so destabilized by the tragedy of what had just occurred.
Right. It's almost like a wartime news article collage.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the close-up black and whites of the various X-Men dying just now.
With the text all in black frames. Closed caption.
It's really striking. It's really, really crazy. And so what do you think? This was Life 6 for Moira? Year 10 has been Life 6 all along? The one we didn't get a timeline for?
Yeah, maybe. I could see that being the case.
Or Professor X is growing pod mutants and who don't know they're pod mutants and sending them out on the suicide missions and they don't know it.
Yeah, because that would be creepy.
But his reaction to their deaths does seem to be...
Yeah, it's real.
It's real, so I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah. I'm giving it a 9 too. It's just fantastic.
So the series is great. It's living up to the hype, and the hype was tremendous.
Right.
So...
Yeah, and it's so brutal at the same time. So that's just great.
That's what X-Men comics should be, man. They suffer losses. It is a drama.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about the Immortal Hulk, issue number 3 by Al Ewing and Joe Bennett. 23, baby. 20? What did I say? 3. Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
Way past 3. And after last time where they got teleported right into the enemy base, and the enemy knew that they were there right away with the crazy commander in control of the Abomination.
Yeah, Gamma Flight got teleported in.
Gamma Flight got teleported in, and then Hulk came in to save them all. So this issue is all of that, with Hulk and Gamma Flight fighting together, and Samson's there. And Creedy.
I like the way that it keeps letting us know, and this is such an interesting thing to do in a medium that has no audio component, but the way that the woman's narration keeps mentioning that Rick Jones with his super creepy, lipless zombie face. When he's speaking, he's in his, young man Rick Jones voice.
Yeah.
It's real creepy.
It's real weird. And he's flying around with gamma rays shooting out of him.
His powers are nebulous.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. The Hulk the whole time, he seems to be enjoying himself through most of this.
He loves it.
He's smashing. And Absorbing Man, he's having a good time. They shoot some titanium needles with fentanyl in them, but he takes the titanium right away before the fentanyl can get to him, and it's covered in titanium.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing to do to him.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, like Absorbing Man.
Yeah.
And they've got their sunlight guns.
They got their sunlight guns, which gives us some crazy Bruce Banner coming out of the Hulk, 3 arms showing, 2 Hulks and 1 Banner arm coming out of one of Hulk arms in his face in agony.
And it's funny what a coward Banner is in this run. Like, regular ass Bruce Banner is straight up like panicked. Like, no, it's not my time.
Right. No, Hulk, not me, you. But they take out Samson.
Yeah, they take him out bad, and it's a good thing we know that all the Gamma people are totally immortal in this run.
Right. And they take down the Puck. That's his name, right?
They take down Puck. Puck takes down them, but they get him eventually.
They then get he's doing good for a real long time. But then they get him down too.
Puck really did used to be the king of hell, by the way. That's what he's referring to.
I wondered about that.
That line of dialogue.
Right, because he's kicking ass through most of this.
Yeah, I don't recall what run of Alpha Flight or Excalibur or whatever that was, but that's a thing.
Well, Puck is awesome.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the bad guys have one of those gamma zombies that Hulk buried early on in the run.
Yeah.
And they're using him for something crazy.
Was that issue 3?
That might have been.
Wouldn't that have been amazing?
Yeah, it might have been. It was like 2 or 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's no good. It was a kid before it became this gamma zombie, so its mind is gone.
Yeah, and
it's insane.
They've been doing it, and the lead scientist on the project is so guilty. She's straight up just like, kill me, it's all my fault, I deserve it.
Yeah. And then at the end, Abomination spits more of that acid on the Hulk, which leads to the final page of Hulk just like ripping off his melting skin, and he seems to not be in anguish. He seems to be like, hey, look at me, I'm scary as hell.
Yeah, It
might just be because his lips are burnt away, but he totally looks like he's smiling.
It is because of that, and that's why he's saying Hulk Snash.
Right.
Hulk Smash.
Smash.
But it's real gross. Like, Joe Bennett keeps outdoing
really
himself
gross
on these gross Hulk pages, man.
I love it. I enjoyed this issue. I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm giving it an 8 too. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but we now have confirmed that the series is going to go longer than issue 25. It's more ongoing. They've solicited further issues.
Okay, well, considering the quality, I'm not real disappointed about that.
Yeah, me neither. Moving on to another very not disappointing comic, that's going to be issue 11 of The Green Lantern by Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp. And very cool. At the beginning, we see some lanterns investigating a sector where some planet got eaten like an apple. Yeah. Just like an apple core left of the planet. And one of the lanterns is RoboCop, which I loved.
Yes. Very cool.
Right, both in talking and in looks.
Oh, yeah.
But Sinestro's there, and they're in trouble.
They are in trouble.
And we get some scenes with Batman saving the Tangent Lantern along with Hal, because he's much better at making a stasis pod with his ring than Hal Jordan, who just makes a loose bubble.
Yep.
And we meet Lost Zundernell, who I'm not sure if he's actually Lost Zundernell based on his chaotic ravings at the end, because later he also talks about Zundernell being somebody else who he didn't like.
Yeah, well, he's got a few screws loose.
This dude is the craziest of crazies. And he's got this weird thing where he's abducting lanterns from all the various multiverses using the power of the Cosmic Grail, which is a giant lantern power battery from another dimension.
Yeah, and he wants to recruit them for a future fight, so he's putting them in stasis.
So he's putting them in stasis to keep them ready for the fight. And yeah, he's real strong.
Yeah.
And we get an interlude with the Universe Zero stuff where that giant fire monster is fighting the Universal Superwatch. And some lanterns show up and super cop-like take over all the proceedings.
Yeah.
We get a lantern John Stewart, but I'm pretty sure this isn't John Stewart from our universe. Is it? Maybe it is.
Maybe.
They're in Universe Zero, so might be a different one. But either way, turns out Big Fire Guy may not actually be the villain we all thought he was. He may actually be there because he's maybe like a prison guard who was supposed to be keeping the Quaman
Yeah, he does seem to be like, no, don't be violent. I'm not against you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he calls himself Border Patrol. That's what it is. So very interested to see where that goes. But the Cosmic Grail plot, like, it's interesting that it was just this couple of issues where we just go and see Zunderdell and he goes crazy, and Tangent Lantern brings, I guess, like his old sidekick's ghost back to life to scold him a bit for the crazy thing that he's become, and then they dispatch him relatively easily because they're the Green Lanterns and they have the most powerful weapons in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
And we get the great page at the end of them all flying home, and we get all the different universes, Lantern Oaths, which the best of which is clearly the Hippie Lanterns Oath, which has swearing in it.
That says swearing.
When other lanterns lose their shit, we keep the magic lantern lit.
Right?
Of course he does. But they have the ship partially blocked by another lantern's word balloon, which is
I had to
wonderful.
read it. I had to read the line after that and be like, that doesn't rhyme, and then go back to realize that it's covering the shit.
And I like that for the most part you can tell who is saying each one because it's all very clear. Like, oh yeah, this is the Batman one. Like, so.
I mean, Batman one has the arm spikes,
right? And Darkest Night.
And the first line about the signal. So the bat signal.
But yeah, the next issue is the last part of season 1, and it looks like it's going to be the big showdown with the Quaman, who has taken out the Lanterns on Universe Zero and appears to be fucking with Sinestro in some way as well.
Yeah, and he looks pretty unstoppable.
He looks pretty fucking unstoppable. And the power battery lets us know that, which, it's narrating. We don't know whose narration this is in the power battery boxes, but it lets us know that Hal Jordan has 25 minutes left to live. I love that kind of ending. It's great. I loved it. That's a 9.
Yeah, it's a 9 for me, too. Really good issue.
Cool.
We're going to finish up tonight by talking about issue 6 of The Goon by Eric Powell and Thomas Snagowski and Brett Parson. And this is a fun issue. Get a little bit more of the kids, but it's mostly about Mobster Monkey Dude.
And it's interesting because it really seemed like they were setting him up as the big bad behind the scenes, but it turns out he is, in fact, the henchman for an even bigger bad whose face is yet to be revealed as the end of this issue.
Right. At first I thought he was just talking to himself.
Right. Yeah, me too.
Until the guy's like, the vent. And then he says, no worries, sir. I got this.
Yeah, I like the little kid crew, how forward thinking they are. They really want to help out, you know.
Yeah, help out Dan's cause mayhem.
Now I really want to know how much this Swamp Bigfoot, does this Swamp Bigfoot have any relation to Monkey in the Suit, or did they just have two monkey looking villains?
No, it seems like this monkey in a suit is connected to that lady who Goon's sidekick was gonna wax her back.
What makes you think that?
Well, he's talking about how he lost his keys, where he left his pants, and he gave his pants to this thing. I think he said something towards because he was going there before.
Yeah, but I didn't get a connection to the guy to the suit monkey, to Mr. Simeon.
Mr. Suit.
Isn't that his name?
No, not Mr. Suit Monkey. Just this.
Oh monkey. Yeah, this guy. Yeah,
this
Bigfoot.
Monkey. Yeah, Bigfoot is somehow connected to Jimmy and all his hijinks, and I wondered if this was the lady that he's waxing her back.
Oh, if this was this wasn't her.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah, no way. No, this ain't the widow, whatever.
Right.
Her name is.
But he ends up finding his keys. He left them in his hat, not his pants.
But I want to talk about the fish sticks bit, because that was great.
The fish sticks bit. All right, yeah, talk about the fish sticks bit.
It was really funny. There's this guy, what's this guy's name? I don't remember what his name is, but he's a evil, Kraken Lovecraft monster captain fish guy.
Yeah, with a hook and peg leg and everything.
Right, both of them are hooks and one peg leg. And he used to be another crook that the Goon hunted down, and he's been trying to quote-unquote go straight. But he's been operating a legitimate fish stick empire, which is actually some sort of breaded whale part empire.
pretty sure it's
Whale dicks.
Whale dicks.
That is
and
what
his name is Pete.
Right, Fishy Pete.
Fishy Pete.
Fishy Pete. And we get a good old slugfest between the Goon and Suit Monkey, and they are pretty evenly matched physically, which is interesting.
Yeah, it seems that way. The whole time the Suit Monkey's like, I thought you were supposed to be this terrible guy, but you're no problem.
But man, I gotta say, I was complimenting the kid team earlier, but it sure seems like they sacrificed the big guy and turned him over to the coroner who makes zombie people in order to gain entry to his office in the beginning of the issue, but they never rescued the guy, and now I think this is him being turned into some sort of weird Goon clone.
Oh yeah, probably.
That's sad. That's tragic for that guy.
That is tragic.
The big lunk.
But Goon did show that he is pretty smart in this one by realizing that Big Monkey wasn't the big boss.
Yeah, you could tell that the dude wasn't actually trying to take him out with any killing blows, which is interesting because that does mean that, what does that mean for a fight when that dude is trying to kill him?
Right, exactly. Maybe he was really holding back.
Really setting him up as a big physical threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this issue, well, really, it's on par with how the Goon has been, which is really good.
Yeah, Goon and Usagi, which is, that's both cases where it's the guy doing the writing and the drawing,
right.
And they've been doing it for a long time. They have a very consistent level of quality for each issue.
True.
And they're both doing things that are very short arcs or single issue things that are very easy. These guys are just both old pros, man.
Oh yeah, that is definitely true. I also feel like this is the first issue where you see the Goon's eyes.
I noticed that too when he takes that hit.
He takes a hit in the stomach and you can see one eye.
Yeah, it's interesting symbolism that when he's taking a real big hit, that's the time when you can actually get a look under his hat.
Yeah, the only time. Yeah. But I enjoyed this one very much. I give it a 7.
Yeah, I think 7's right for this.
Yeah. I also really like the cover.
Good cover.
Goon's arm is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's Eric Powell, too. He just shows how he's good at the line art style, but he can also paint a damn good cover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to do it. Really solid week. Everything was rated pretty high. So very good. Thanks, everybody. Hit like if you enjoyed listening to us. Subscribe for more. And we'll be back in the very near future with even more comic reviews.
Hit like even if you didn't enjoy listening to us. Just do it. Do it.